What's up, viewers of the Conical Television channel? So South Park is my favorite TV series, and maybe my favorite franchise, period. So when I found out there were some South Park games, I got pretty excited. What's that? We're not playing the Stick of Truth, we're playing the N64 games? I mean, the intro is pretty cool. They recreated the show's intro but in 3D, which was much cooler in 1998 than it is now, but I'm not going to be a hater. Now we get to choose our characters, and I of course picked the best of the four, which is Kenny. And after that, the other best character, Chef, gives us a rundown on what's going on.
Big comet is headed our way. It's gonna cross paths with the Earth, and when it does, all kind of crazy, spooky stuff is gonna happen.
Man, Chef is weird.
Don't be a hater, Kyle! We have to throw snowballs at these turkeys, and it's surprisingly hard because this is an FPS on the N64. I played it with an Xbox controller, but no amount of polish can save N64 controls on a first-person game. We pick up all the other boys, and I'm pretty sure you're able to switch characters too, but I think it's just after you die, and not to brag, but I never died during this playthrough. So many of these turkeys spawn at once, it's like I'm running a train on COD Zombies. And they don't even take away that much health either, so it's just kind of annoying, not really challenging like a game should be. I'm confused at the target demo for this game. South Park isn't for kids, but it plays like a kid's game. Maybe that's because Matt and Trey had nothing to do with the development. And if there's one thing they do try to kill, it's the frame rate. I guess an N64 can handle 20 low poly turkeys. I would play the PC version, but I'm not going to attempt to install a game from 1998 on my PC that I built last year. In this cabin we get a new weapon that's basically the same as snowballs, but we can sometimes catch it. It also does more damage, but against the turkeys that doesn't really matter since they go down in 1 or 2 hits anyway. The game becomes super repetitive super quickly, and the only real obstacles were these doors, which you kind of just unlock by killing the turkeys. The N64 version has actual in-game cutscenes, which was probably a bigger deal at the time. There's also a PS1 version, which is vastly inferior. It looks like complete garbage is what I'm saying. Anyways, on stage 2, it's more of the same, just kill more turkeys, and this game hates exploration. There's all these corners to the map, and when you try to explore, there's just dead ends. We have the first tank of the game, this giant turkey, and it goes down in 4 dodgeball hits. Sometimes you can even get it in 2. Again, this game isn't hard for a game about an adult show. I really don't know what the target audience is. Maybe it's like Conker's Bad Fur Day. But after more endless hordes and some ladder climbing and some intense platforming, we finished another level, and if I'm being perfectly honest, this was about the point where I wanted to stop playing the game because it's extremely repetitive, but the show must go on. We get a new weapon that's a toilet plunger launcher. After another Chef cutscene, and did Chef's house move or something? Now we have to go into this cave complex, and guess what? It's more of the same game. It's just in a different environment. It almost feels like the backrooms, the way everything is just so bare and empty. We also get a dart gun, which is kind of useful, especially against large groups of turkeys. And then it's boss time, and once I figured out where to hit it, it was also way too easy. The biggest problem with this game is that it's way too easy, and the biggest challenge is actually the controls, not the actual gameplay. And finally, we tackle the tanks destroying the town to save everything, and this was the coolest part, but I'm done with the game. I'm over it. It's boring. And before we get to the next game, consider subscribing and hitting the bell to make sure you get notified. I upload every week, so if you like my videos, there's a lot more to come. Back to the video. There is a South Park racing game. I don't know what compelled Acclaim Entertainment to go for a racing game as a sequel to a first-person shooter, but I'm gonna go into it with an open mind, so let's try it out. And the intro is much worse than the FPS.
I'm going down south, I'm gonna have myself a time.
In the last game they at least try to recreate the show's intro, but this is just a lazily slopped together monstrosity. Why is Les Claypool so big? This man is larger than a train. And the menu has no music. I've never seen a game menu with no music. Maybe it's an emulator issue, but it feels eerie. There's a decent selection of early season South Park characters, so that's a nice bonus, but we start the first race, which is just a standard kart race around town. If you thought the last game had a horrible frame rate, this will blow you away. Again, it may be an issue with my emulator, but considering the N64 itself notoriously had bad frame rates, it's probably an issue with the game. Also again, I would play the PC version, but the controls are again horrible. And this isn't a limitation of the N64 because games like Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing control fine. The map's layout is also a huge pain. There's just too many sharp turns and the speed boosts are just at the absolute worst spots. Like right here, I barely missed a checkpoint because of the speed boost. And even though I was way ahead of everyone, I lost. In this game, you aren't going to lose to other racers, you're going to lose to bad game design, and that sucks. The only difficulty I find in this game again is just plain annoyance. There's nothing really fun to it. One of the few good aspects of this game is how many different game modes there are. This one you have to collect this antidote, and I'm playing as an alien because, I don't know, seemed interesting. And I'd probably say this game mode is better than the standard race mode. It has a bit of a Mario Kart battle mode vibe, and I mean all the other game modes do, but I'll just take what I could get. The map layout for other game modes are just absolutely horrible. There's no consistency with the checkpoints and it's way too easy to go in the wrong way and lose. This is the last game mode and it's the Millennium New Year's Eve where we have to defeat Satan, and of course I choose Jesus because why would I choose anyone else? I also choose this volcano map because it seemed fitting, and so far this is my favorite map in game mode. Once I actually got the key I started doing well, but this little fucker Ike took it from me. How would a Canadian baby take the key of Satan from Jesus? I don't understand that, but Ike really did clutch it. The final game that I've seen basically no one talk about is Chef's Love Shack. It's a game show game that's a bit like a cross between Jeopardy and Mario Party, and it is the freshest idea Acclaim had. It's presented like a show on the South Park Public Access TV channel, the same one with Jesus and Friends. And I don't have any friends, especially ones who would play an obscure N64 game with me at 1 AM. I actually really love the environment and ambience of this game. It feels like an interactive segment of an episode, a bit akin to the later South Park games, which are essentially interactive South Park movies. And the actual gameplay is super simple and easy to navigate, unlike the other games. It's just selecting answers to trivia questions with these simple mini games every round. This first one is like the original Donkey Kong arcade game. Okay, maybe it still has some flaws. I mean, I jumped at the right time, right? You also have this section where you answer rapid fire questions, and if you win, you get to anally probe Cartman, and I absolutely love it. It just bleeds old South Park. Overall, this was the most enjoyable game of the bunch, and there's not a ton to say about it, but if you like South Park, I would actually highly recommend playing a game of it. It's probably a lot better with other people too, so if you can, don't play alone.
You dumbass hippie motherfucker! My damn ass is sore as hell!